Bulawanaka. There's an invitation that has been put out by the Fijian diaspora here to come and celebrate independence, 47th year of independence. As I said today, Fiji is now open for business. So come home, invest, build a home, farm, do whatever you want, but come home.
Okay.
Here, this way, sir. Hey, brother.
Harley Chapel and Councillor Joanne Charles from the Semiahmoo First Nations. We are hosting this evening's events on the unceded traditional territories of the Coast Salish First Nations peoples and also the Semiahmoo First Nations.
CM and his chalata CM, Haichka, CM, Makwelia, Atsuna Asla, Atiatangan, Hopakton, Sinsasna, CM, Hewitt to Simiamus and CM and his chalata CM. Dear friends and relatives, before I pass the microphone over to my relative, I just want to thank each and every one of you, and especially our honored guest for being and welcoming you to our home and our backyard. Our understanding is us as First Nations people, we're all connected. We're all connected somehow. And I just want to thank you and welcome you to our home, welcome you to our territory. My traditional name is Popocton. My English name is Harley Chapel. I'm the elected chief in here in Semiahmoo. But I really want to thank you and welcome you to our front backyard.
Thank you.
I'm just going to pass it off to my cousin.
CM, Sachalata CM, Skalita Wet, Squinimia 2, Sitsanat CM. Good evening, everyone. My traditional ancestral names are Skalita Wet and Squinimia 2 from Semiahmoo First Nation. I'd just like to also say Haishka, which is thank you in our language for all of those that were able to come here tonight, and to thank our honored guests for being here as well and welcoming to our territory. Haishka, Osium. My English name is Joanne Charles, and I'm one of the elected leadership for our nation as well, Osium.
Just in welcoming to all of our guests, and especially our honored guest here, we always say there was two ways we came into our communities and our villages. One was through warfare, and the other, we came and we opened our hands and we sung songs and we welcomed our visitors to our communities. So what we'd like to sing tonight is one of our welcome songs, and welcome, not only, we understand, not only the humanness, not only the human being, but the spirit of the people that come with our relatives. Always the generosity we have from our brothers that welcomed us here. But that simple gesture of open hands and open eyes is very open and loving, a sign of peacefulness and gratitude. So just a small understanding of who we are. But again, we want to thank each and every one of you for being here this evening. Thank you. we always like to do is we always want you to remember who we are. So I have a small love offering. Small love offering. The paddles for us, just like they are for your people, very, very important. Very important. Not only in our paddle in life, but our paddle in the spirit world. These paddles were also the ones that we signified for the warriors, the ones that were able to go to war and come back, and they earned these things. The beads you see on it are the trading beads, the old currency that we have with some of the first traders that came in. So I have a small love offering I'd like to share with you to remember your time here in our home. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief, and thank you, Councillor. To reiterate what the Chief said, every time I go to Fiji, I try to learn a little bit about the Indigenous culture, and it definitely reminds me of learning about the Indigenous culture of Canada. And it goes to remind you that no matter how far apart we are in the world, just how connected we all are. We'll now go from a little bit of the traditional and Indigenous culture here in Canada to the wonderful Indigenous culture of Fiji. So we will call upon two members of the community, Raisha Hussein and Arabella Khan, who will present the Prime Minister and Mrs. Lamarano with a garland. The thing about garlands is that they are a symbol of welcome that are strong all across the Pacific Islands. In the Fijian culture, called the sausau around one's neck, it's placed. It's an affectionate way of showing love, appreciation, can be welcoming as well. So now we will present the garlands. I just wanted to take this time to remind everyone that we will have time later on for people to take photos and to meet and greet the Prime Minister and to meet the delegation from Fiji. But please, during the festivities, it would be very chaotic if we were all running up and meeting each other and taking photos. So please, during the ceremony, I ask you to please be seated. And afterwards, we'll have time for photos. But at this time, I'll ask you all to please rise and to join a young local pop singer who sings R&B music and Bollywood music. She will be leading us in the singing of God Bless Fiji and O Canada. Please welcome Karishma Dio.
I'm staying here.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all thy sons command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true North, strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard
you please be seated? By the way, if you are interested in following Karishma's career, following some of her music, you can do so by following her on Instagram at karishma.music. She's had a great career so far. She's opened for singers such as Sunny Nagam and very popular artists. By the way, my name is Imad Ali. For those of you who don't know me, I will be co-hosting this event tonight with my good friend Bilal Chima. I myself am a member of the Fiji Historical Society and part of the organizations which are hosting this tonight. So on behalf of your hosts, the Canadian Society of Fiji Muslims and the Muslim Business Council of British Columbia, I'd like to welcome you all here tonight. And I will now turn the mic over to Bilal.
Thank you, Imad. Tonight's a special evening. We gather here with some of our special guests. Also, we gather here in Surrey, British Columbia, in Canada's 150th birthday. At the same time, we're gathering in acknowledging the upcoming 47th birthday of Fiji since they regained independence in 1970. It's a special evening. The Prime Minister has been here a number of times. He was here recently meeting with the Prime Minister of Canada at the ministerial meeting for climate change in Montreal. And a short time later, he's back to be here with us. And we are very, very pleased that he decided to stop by in British Columbia and Surrey, and that our host, Brother Fayaz Khan from Century 21, again, and the Muslim Business Council and the Canadian Society of Fiji Muslims put this event on for all of us tonight. Before we proceed, I'd just like to acknowledge, of course, again, the Right Honourable Prime Minister Ferenge Bainimarama, the Prime Minister of Fiji, and Mrs. Bainimarama. The Honourable Fayaz Koya, the Minister for Industry, Trade and Tourism for Fiji. High Commissioner Solo Mara, Fiji's Ambassador to the United States in Washington, D.C. And also Bobby Naker, our local Honorary Consul General of Fiji to Vancouver. I'll also take a moment to recognize former MLA Sue Hamill from Green Timbers. Thank you for being here, Sue, and we're going to call on you in a little bit. Also, Dr. Gulzar Chima, former member of the Legislative Assembly from Surrey Panorama Ridge. Thank you also for being here. I'm going to pass it on to Imad. We're going to have another introduction of the ceremony, and Imad will tell you all about it.
All right, so we are going to continue to welcome our guests from Fiji right now. We are going to welcome him traditionally in the traditional ways of the Itoke people of Fiji. I will now call upon Mr. Thea Usakirakimba to introduce and explain the traditional way that we will be welcoming the Prime Minister.
Amen. Before we conduct our traditional Fijian ceremony, we will just take a little bit of time to pray for the Honorable Prime Minister, as well as the dignitaries and the officials who are with us today. Let us all pray. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on our beloved nation as it is done in heaven. Tonight we acknowledge your sovereignty, O Lord, and that you are the God of our beloved nation, Fiji, God of our forefathers, our Creator. You are the omniscient God. You are an all-knowing God who is sovereign in the current affairs of our beloved country and nation of Fiji. We lift up our Prime Minister, the Honorable Josiah Borenge Bainimarama, and all government officials and delegations that are here tonight. And we also offer prayers and intercession and thanksgiving for all leaders and all those in authority in our nation. We ask for wisdom. You have given us a great country founded on principles and truths from your word. Lord, we need men and women who will honor you, trust you, and lead us back to you. We pray for servant leaders who love the things you love, leaders with discerning hearts and bold faith, and wise minds that model your character. Guide our leaders in the way our country should go. Give them purity in their intentions and godliness in their convictions. Lord, as the 2018 election approaches, we are concerned of the issues that confront our nation and our country. We ask for eyes that are free from blindness, so that we might see each other as brothers and sisters, one and equal in dignity, especially those who are victims of abuse and violence, deceit and poverty. We ask for ears that will hear the cries of children, unborn and those abandoned, men and women oppressed because of race or creed, religion or gender. We ask for minds and hearts that are open to hearing the voice of leaders who will bring us closer to your kingdom. We pray for discernment so that we may choose leaders who hear your word, live your love, and keep in the ways of your truth as they follow in the steps of the Lord, and guide us to your kingdom of justice and peace. We thank you so much for this time. We pray and ask all this in the name of our Lord, Son, Jesus Christ, and through the power of the Holy Spirit. And everyone say amen. Amen.
Okay, thank you. So now we'll go with the traditional Yagona ceremony. So what you're going to see now on the floor in front of me is the consumption of a traditional ceremonial Fijian drink. The Yagona, the plant in Fiji. For those of you who visited, you may have been asked to participate in this ceremony.
Tama. Ui.
Wow, ui.
Depa turang juni cio. Ina tena. Wana turang ada tukiwa.
Wow, ui.
Paturang talcungai na bindele nyabu. Samai coba na kami singan uan. Berpasanga, wana maramarut yung reit. Di sasau. Kumbuna wana turanga. Ini Pak Araw. Nanunggu penuh tobat. Sampai sampai nak kawin singan uang. May tambaran to na tambuan numuni baso po aturang. May somucho na numuni ngolo aturang amay na kawin singan uang. Nabono ni bingarabi ko Canada. Ni ray tumay ni ray na lebu ni tamata sa chuo na kawin singan uang. Na amunanga paturanga non rene tau ei ran to na ngauna ratu mai na mai bici era sales to la mai Canada na amunanga talanga non ran andar na India ratu to na ngauna mai bici era ba mai ke rasu to na ngauna ra utalebira non ra pambauta ino bonongo sa dibir na tura kana amunanga sa mai tambor ra yum na ka bisi na amunanga talanga na ratu mata tamata satu nabi penuh ni bingkarabe Canada. So bei rasangol main alomanya baksa kabul lampai saud. sor sa ngolomay na tul sa ngabulang pa isawon. E sinaw tatani na nonra, na numatu na nontabanua. Inanuman yung ngolomay na kabinsingan uwa. Sampo anin pa abinina. Yung babili natin na naalaw lew. Abita ko may loman ng sala. Nabuang palaw. Kaya ako may nakabinsingan uwa. May bisa pa abili na ina pa aliw. Naamo na nga tal nga. Sampai patang burital nga ini sa losway tungguan to nangkona. Kono pa turanga. Sanon resep-resep. Pero na lewi bici. Era satu gue Canada. May babili natin na ba aliw. Anong manyato may. Nung manibesi ko may patama nakabinsingan uwa. Ito na ngauna. Rado niya munito nga. Rado niya munito nga naloyal. Yan sa may sota ng bula binaya na maraw nakabinsingan uwa. Kaya naumna kung sa may tambor nakabinsingan uwa. Pabili natin na baliw. Ano rato talaga may so na lewi ni panurang wala may bici. Ralamay na tampan ni matiniti. So nung rapat tatar na lewi panua. Pero may pataro nga nakabinsingan uwa. Yung sa pabili na nung rabe nanumi. Nanong ni au may nakabinsingan uwa. May tapos-tapos na ba ng turang. Tapos ang palaw tayo na sinipaliw tayo na nabi asayap. May paturang ang ginatsuay na panua. Natin na. Wanain na ito may sosaraot.
Nasa di komisi nakamunangan ni Viva Ditaki. Kamunangan ni Vinanumi. Kamunangan sa langit dito na Ditaki ni Matentu. Kamunangan sa pagkatulang at tagital-tungakin manda suatu na sigiliw ni Kuwa. Ang karay lang yung namdok kamu na may sulit na kanabay pa kalungat sa na punwa. Kalungat na walis-lesi. Gagawin na kasi na namdo swata. Ito po na kanalut. Mana? Hindi na.
Awal watsa nawan kamnang. Na kamnang na pating balo. Nakamna sa may batu kaisa kami galgaloy baturan. Sa may okastal singa may barita kini siu-siu. Sa dan may baturan sa cumay bernama tibio kan. Sa may bulan. Sa baru yan ang dilin soso na may dua sa chikin na kain bom ginagi. Sa nakamna sa chikon natural na rekonsa. Nakamna sa chikon natural na mata. Sa dami sa cumina bunoy kumbuna wasa na turana buni walo pikama. Rumbasana na man maram rautim kaya tiga turana buni walo. Matentu gangga bila mana tawan. Na kamu na sahabat ambil satu na matentu. Liliusan na matentu. Naman turana prime minister. Nung baliam sa akin natin na wasa na turana rautim kaya. Bersama ini kalau sana na kamu na yan. Nanggal-golo gana yalo rupawa yalo sa doka. Sama ikan na tamata kaya ng dom. Namun kaya di besar juga na elo yang orang rokok, elo sana bab ni bina. Ni tawo ni batu rata ni tawo sana ni bermin bini. Di nasakan inda may sot sa kain doon nabunon dabulang sakin. Sa nasakan itanggus na tawo ni batu rata. Akalim sakin na bab ni bina. Usala bilang na kamunangan ng galgulo baturan. Isong sa may nakilabing kalungat tayo. Do kalungat sa natural. Kalungat sa kair na linga ni Rongor, kalungat sa na isul-sul. Kalau nggak kaki na ililin ng tamatay itu dapat kalau tumatay sa mga bulan. Mana? Hindi na sa tama sa kamu na sana ko na sa kaliu. Amdo. Nasa. Tayo rosos to na marbaturanga.
Yan do pula. Pula.
Mana?
All right, thank you for the kava ceremony. Kava ceremony is not unlike the tea ceremonies that you may see in Asian cultures. It's a sacred drink, an old drink. It's considered a very sacred part of the culture. And the clapping and the consumption of it is all part of the cultural experience that you just witnessed. It's used for a number of purposes, and welcoming is one of the purposes. And so that we say welcome, Bula. And now I will turn over to Bilal.
Bula. Bula. So, I'm going to call on the Right Honourable Prime Minister in a second, but let me introduce, for those who don't know his background. The Right Honourable Prime Minister Vorengi Bainimarama is the democratically elected Prime Minister of Fiji after leading his Fiji First political movement to a decisive victory in the 2014 general election on September 17th. Mr. Bainimarama has been the Fijian Prime Minister since 2007. Under his leadership, Fiji has undergone a broad program of social, economic, electoral, and constitutional reforms, which led up to the restoration of parliamentary democracy in 2014. The Prime Minister has made the delivery of basic services such as clean water, electricity, roads, and affordable mobile and internet his government's top priority. He is also committed to rooting out the systemic corruption that has plagued Fiji in the past, as well as generating an investment-friendly environment that creates jobs and grows the economy. The Prime Minister assumed his position after a successful career as Commander of the Royal Fiji Military Forces. The Prime Minister was born in Suva and was educated at Marist Brothers High School. Ladies and gentlemen, the Right Honourable Vorengi Bainimarama, the Prime Minister of Fiji.
Bulaminaka. Bulaminaka, my fellow Fijians. Friends of Fiji, ladies and gentlemen, and before I continue, let me first acknowledge the traditional owners of the land. Thank you for those warm words of welcome, and I thank you for the wonderful gift, which I will treasure. Bulaminaka, and a very good evening to you all. First, let me begin by saying thank you for the traditional ceremony of welcome. You've quoted myself, my wife Mary, and my delegation. I can't fully express how much it means to me personally to share in our traditions with all of you this evening, so far away from our shores. Your practice of this traditional ceremony is testament to the bonds that bind us together, bonds that do not diminish in the face of the vast ocean that separate us, because no measure of distance can change the simple fact that Fiji is still your home as much as it is mine. So it means a great deal to me that we can all pay homage to our shared heritage here in Canada. As you all know, our friends and family back in Fiji are preparing to recognize Fiji Day on 10th of October. But I'm happy we've been able to move forward our celebrations here in Vancouver to celebrate the 47th anniversary of our independence this evening. After my trip to North America, I will be returning to Fiji. From here, I'm going down to San Francisco in the next couple of days, also to celebrate our National Day with the Fijian diaspora there. But after my trip to North America, I will be returning to Fiji on the 10th of October to attend our National Fiji Day celebrations. And for the first time ever, those celebrations will be held in the West, in Nandi, at the Prince Charles Park. That has never happened before, as those celebrations have always been restricted to Suva, the capital. And I understand why it's much bigger than Nandi and Ba. And I very much look forward to celebrating our 47 years of independence alongside those Fijians residing in our Western Division. Every year, Fiji Day is our chance to reflect on the ties that connect us as members of the same extended Fijian family. Let us all remember that those ties are not defined by ethnicity. They're not defined by our religion, our gender, or our status in society. But rather, they are defined by the love we share for our great country and our commitment to one another. Let us all remember that. The darkest parts of Fijian history are those times that we fail to recognize these common bonds, something many in this room are all too familiar with. There are few greater tragedies than that of a citizen to feel like an unwelcome stranger in your own home. The events of 1987 and 2000 that drove many of you away from our home left a gaping hole in the heart of our nation and set us back decades, threatening the future of our beloved Fiji and the prosperity of every Fijian. Those events stripped us of many of our best and brightest, causing lasting damage to the character of our nation and to the prospects of our country and the economy. When I was here 2 years ago, I offered my sincere apologies on behalf of all of Fiji for the pain that you've endured, the pain that drove you to leave the place you knew as home, to uproot and restart your lives an ocean away. I know that depth of that pain does not fade with time, so again, I ask that you please accept our apologies for what you've suffered. I know that words only do so much. Without action, words are hollow. Without action, we cannot apply the lessons of history, and we risk slipping back toward the mentalities of division and communalism that drove so many to flee Fiji. Over the last decade that I've led our nation, I've made it my personal mission to assure that no Fijian has felt cast aside in their own country. And abroad, I've made special efforts to reach out to you, our diaspora communities, and reconnect with our extended Fijian family. The times that I've spent with your community in Vancouver are some of my most treasured moments as Prime Minister. I'm inspired by what you've all achieved, despite the difficult circumstances in which you've arrived here in Canada. And I'm extremely proud of all your successes. Tonight I carry the same message that I brought with me 2 years ago, that the dark days are over. You all belong in the new Fiji. You are all part of our Fijian family. And as we chart a path of unprecedented progress for Fiji, we welcome all of you to join us. I'm prepared to do whatever is necessary to right the wrongs to so many of you. That is why I'm here today, and why I hope to work side by side with all of you to continue our work to build the new Fiji. Much has happened in the 2 years since I was here last in your community. In February of last year, we can all recall the devastation brought upon Fiji by the strongest cyclone ever to strike the southern hemisphere. Cyclone Winston, I know many of you still have family and loved ones in Fiji and anxiously awaited any news about their safety after the cyclone struck. I'm sure many of you have seen the photos of the destruction or have it described to you by families and relatives who lived through the devastation. Tonight, I'd also like to extend a very gracious Vinakabogaleo to those Fijians in Canada, those of you who came forward to support your fellow Fijians who badly needed assistance in the aftermath of the storm. Then later that same year, we all had our spirits lifted when our Rugby Sevens heroes took home the gold at the Olympics in Rio. And I'm sure that every Fijian household in Vancouver joined us all in celebration when we took the gold medal. These past 2 years, we have grown our economy, marking 8 straight years of economic growth, despite the challenge posed by Cyclone Winston. And we've assumed global leadership on 2 of the most pressing issues of our time: the preservation of our oceans and the global campaign against climate change. This past June, Fiji co-hosted the first ever UN conference on oceans in New York. And under our leadership, close to 1,400 voluntary commitments were submitted by governments and other organizations for the preservation of our oceans and marine resources. An issue that strikes at the heart of the Fijian people, as it does for the people of Vancouver. As you likely know, Fiji is also set to assume the presidency of the ongoing United Nations negotiations on climate change, COP23. As COP23 president, I will lead the global effort to confront the growing threat of climate change in Bonn, Germany, this November. A responsibility I have taken on for every Fijian, regardless of where they are in the world, and for every global citizen. The world is looking to all of us as Fijians because we know better than most that the impacts of climate change are already upon us. We understand those impacts are getting worse, and we understand the urgency for decisive global action. But I want to be clear, we haven't been chosen to lead this global effort solely because it is we Fijians who live on the front lines of climate change. We've been tasked with this responsibility because we have shown ourselves to be leaders in addressing this issue. Leaders who have been unrelenting in our work to protect this planet, and leaders who understand the value of teamwork in making that happen. We know that Fiji and every climate vulnerable nation cannot face this threat alone. We need to stand united, side by side, to make decisive cuts in global carbon emissions. That is why, just 3 weeks ago, I was on the other side of the country in Montreal, where I met with your Prime Minister, Justice Trudeau, to discuss our shared commitment to tackling the challenge of climate change. I took Prime Minister Trudeau the same message for climate action that I've taken all around the world as part of my effort to build a grand coalition for climate action that I intend to lead to the negotiations in Bonn later this year. There, we will seek full implementation of the Paris Agreement so we can spare this world from the worst effects of climate change and protect the tremendous progress we are making for Fiji and the Fijian people. So while we may be a small nation, on the global stage, we certainly punch above our weight, as they say in the boxing ring, particularly on the issues that matter most to secure our future. Not only for our sake, but for the sake of every Pacific Islander and every vulnerable citizen on earth. But we aren't only looking abroad. At home, we have emerged as the regional gateway for international trade. We are the hub of the Pacific. We are the strategically located link to the 38 million consumers who reside in the South Pacific, and we provide the best and most reliable transport in the region, along with the world-class telecommunications and well-established and proven base for manufacturing. Not only has that game plan for our regional engagement led to 8 straight years of economic growth, projections indicate the trend will continue, and we are on course to make Fijian history by growing our economy for 10 consecutive years. That record achievement, ladies and gentlemen, has come about because my government has invested big time on the abilities, ambition, and potential of ordinary Fijians. It has come about because we've taken bold steps to make every Fijian bigger players in our development. And it has come about because we've made Fiji the success of every Fijian by investing back in the Fijian people, the hardworking men and women who are carrying Fiji into the future. My government has lived out our duty to every Fijian to expand networks of modern and robust infrastructure to every corner of the country. Roads, bridges, jetties and ports that have opened up our islands and opened new doors of opportunity for Fijians regardless of where they call home. We've also expanded services, water, electricity, health, and medical services that are making life better for men, women, and children all over Fiji, along with networks of telecommunications that are keeping them connected with their fellow Fijians and with the rest of the world. We've introduced, as you will have heard, we've introduced free education, free textbooks, and free bus fares for students for the first time in Fijian history. So no student in Fiji is held back from pursuing their dreams for a high-quality education by their families' circumstances. When many of you left Fiji, you left a nation shackled by dilapidated infrastructure. You left a nation divided along ethnic and communal lines. And you left a nation with no vision for the future and no grasp of its potential. That is not the Fiji I lead today. I invite you to come and see that progress for yourself. Thank you. When you arrive, you will land at our new state-of-the-art Nadi International Airport. As you travel on new roads, you will see new developments springing up all around you. You will see young Fijians pursuing jobs and opportunities their parents never imagined. You will find low taxes and attractive investment incentives, and you will see for yourself that Fiji is well and truly open for business. Your success and achievement here in Canada has put you in a unique position to financially invest in a country that you are already personally invested in, and more importantly, reap the benefits of riding our wave of economic prosperity. Make no mistake, there's never been a better time to invest in Fiji. Our nation is stronger than it has ever been, and my government has ushered in a new era of equality that has paved the way for continued prosperity. With a unified nation and under a constitution that guarantees equal rights for all Fijians, married and married alone now dictate success across the Fijian economy. Many Fijians abroad have already begun helping us build our beloved Fiji, and I urge as many of you as possible to do the same. In the room today, we have representatives to ease the process of both integrating and investing in Fiji. If you are interested in learning more about the many options you have in taking advantage of this economic opportunity, my delegation is here to help, no matter the size of your potential investment. I'm joined by the Minister for Industry, Trade and Tourism, along with the representatives from a number of other key agencies and organizations, the Ministries of Land and of Agriculture, and of course, our ambassador in Washington, Ambassador Solomara. We have our representatives here from Itoke Land, Itoke ILTB, from where is it? My delegation is to make the integration process as possible, whether they wish to return to Fiji on holiday or to make a voice heard in the upcoming election. The Department of Immigration is here to help with passport renewals and losses. As you know, my government now allows our citizens to hold multiple citizenships, so our immigration officials can also assist anyone looking to renew their bond with our home and regain their Fijian citizenship. Officials from the elections office are also here to assist with voter registration for those who are eligible. Thank you to the people of Canada, of British Columbia, and our Fijian family here in Vancouver for making this celebration a success. As we celebrate 40 years of independence, let's all remember that our mission is never over, and we must keep moving Fiji forward. We must stay unified, one nation and one people, dedicated to realizing a brighter future. And I wish you all a very happy Fiji Day celebration. Now, God bless you.
Thank you so much, Prime Minister. I'm going to ask the Prime Minister to stay up here with me for a few seconds, but at the same time I'll ask Brother Asim Khan to maybe lead the honored guests that are seated to their tables. I'm going to call on Arabella and Resha, please come up. On behalf of the Khan family, they would like to present you with an appreciation, a token of appreciation, Prime Minister. Thank you again, Prime Minister. We wish you the best of luck, especially in your endeavors related to climate change. We know that it's very important to the people of Fiji, as it is important to the people of British Columbia. As a matter of fact, our Prime Minister and our government hold the issue of environment and climate change very dear and at the top of their mandate as well. We wish you and the Prime Minister of Canada the best of luck in Bond at COP23. So, the Prime Minister touched on Cyclone Winston. Most people in the room, if not all, remember that time. I remember when I heard about it, my initial reaction was to reach out to people in Canada, to reach out to stakeholders in our government. Those who know me know that I'm involved in the politics within the Liberal Party of Canada, and as the party is the current government, I reached out to friends from British Columbia that sit as members of Parliament, in particular Randeep Sarai. At the time when I was speaking to him, he was at a governor's meeting in Washington, and he was just on his way back. And I told him, hey Randeep, do you know what happened? Did you hear about the cyclone, Category 5, that hit Fiji? He's like, no, I haven't heard nothing yet. I said, well, you're at the airport, you're heading back to Ottawa, look into it, but you need to go and work on this as your priority when you get back to the House of Commons. And I'm very proud to say that Randeep took my advice, spoke to other members of the community, but took his message that was relayed from myself and others directly to the House of Commons in the form of a standing order as a member of Parliament. And he spoke and lobbied and pushed for the Government of Canada to provide assistance. And I'm also very, very happy that the Government of Canada at the time provided enough money right off the bat for building or rebuilding 5,000 homes, and also took additional steps, including matching dollars that were raised within Canada, throughout Canada, for the assistance in Fiji. So I want to play that, round of applause. Round of applause are welcome, they don't cost any money. I want to play that video where Randeep was in the House of Commons. Randeep was supposed to be here tonight, but there's a vote in the House of Commons, so he was unable to attend. So I want to play this video for everyone. Maybe you can dim the lights too, Armin. Thank you.
For Surrey Centre. Mr. Speaker, I reiterate the member on the other side's question. Cyclone Winston, a Category 5 hurricane, just struck the island nation of Fiji. Thousands of homes were destroyed and even more people have been displaced. My riding of Surrey Centre, along with many others across this country, are home to thousands of Fijian Canadians who have loved ones in Fiji. Canada has a long and rich history of responding when our friends are in need. Would the Minister of International Development please tell the House what Canada is doing to assist?
Honourable Parliamentary Secretary.
Mr. Speaker, I would like to thank the Honourable Member from Surrey Centre for his question and his dedication to this file. We all join in expressing Canada's sympathy to the people of Fiji who are dealing with the devastating impacts of Cyclone Winston. Canada has made an initial contribution through the Emergency Disaster Assistance Fund to support the Red Cross's emergency relief operation in Fiji. We are providing emergency shelter and essential relief items to approximately 5,000 people affected. We are in regular contact with officials in Fiji to ensure that their current needs are being addressed and are prepared to support a larger appeal when the longer-term needs are better known. Thank you.
Thank you, Harman, for playing that video. And thank you to the community, because if I know anything about the Fijian Canadian community, is that they're just as proud of their Fijian heritage and their connection to Fiji as they are as being a part of the Canadian fabric. And this is something that the Prime Minister also spoke about. You talked about the gold medal. I think that was the only time that I've seen Fijians leave the soccer field, because they won the gold.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you.
They won the gold medal. Congratulations. I have also in my possession a statement from the Prime Minister of Canada for tonight's events. Unfortunately, because Wendy couldn't be here, I'll read it instead. It is with great pleasure that I welcome you to a night of celebration with the Canadian Fijian community and the Prime Minister of the Republic of Fiji, the Honourable Varangue Frank Bainimarama, at the Royal King Palace and Convention Centre in Surrey, British Columbia. This year, Canadians celebrate our 150th anniversary of Confederation, and we must recognize the indispensable role that diversity has played in the building of our country. As we gather today, let us recognize too the many contributions of our Fijian Canadian community to our society. I was pleased to meet and speak with Prime Minister Bainimarama last month in Montreal after attending the Montreal Ministerial on Climate Action, and to discuss climate vulnerabilities faced by small island developing nations. I look forward to speaking with Prime Minister Bainimarama again in continued cooperation between Canada and the Republic of Fiji. Thank you to the Muslim Business Council of British Columbia, Mr. Fayaz Khan of Century 21, and the Canadian Society of Fiji Muslims for organizing tonight's event. Please accept my warmest welcome and best wishes for a memorable gala. Signed, Justin Trudeau. So we're going to have a performance. It's a special performance. It's a performance that was dedicated to Canada, the diversity in Canada, the social fabric of all of us coming together and finding our place in harmony. We are one. I don't know if there's a single person in this room that hasn't heard or seen the We Are One video or heard the song. It's become an anthem. Its popularity lends itself to the universal nature of its message. Fayaz Khan, who is Fiji-born but resides in the Lower Mainland, was selected to headline one of the largest civic celebrations in Canadian history, a celebration marking the country's 150th birthday, attended by over 500,000 people and broadcast to thousands more. Khan shared the stage with A-list celebrities, such as Bilal Chima, Jackie Chan, and rock group Sam Roberts Band, country artist Emerson Drive, Grammy winner Alex Cuba, and other entertainers. And also present at the events were Canadian Heritage Minister Melody Jolie and Defense Minister Harjit Sajjan, and many other Canadian MPs. The song has now gone over the world, all over the world. Its popularity has exceeded beyond what Khan originally imagined. Sophie Gregoire Trudeau, the wife of Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, wrote Khan a personal letter saying, "Thank you for your beautiful music." Ikra Khalid, a member of Parliament, also wrote to Khan, personally thanking him for his contributions, as did Vance Badaway, a member of Parliament from Niagara. Without further ado, I'm going to call on the team from We Are One, headlined by Bella Arabella Khan. Please come to the stage and share with us We Are One.
We are one, around the world and the universe. We are one, north, south, east to west. We are one, glowing hearts full of love. We are one, a blessing from above. No matter where we're from, we are one. We are one. We are one. Oh Canada, our precious native land.
places. Rich in heritage, religion, and races. True patriot love from far and wide. And you know that hockey's got joy and pride. Make open arms from coast to coast. 150th we here to host. God keep our land glorious and free. Compassionate, we stand on God for thee. Oh Canada, this is a celebration. We are one love and one nation. Come on world, let's join the celebration. Put your ones up everybody. We are one. Yeah. South, east and west, we are one. Come on, come on. We are one. One love, everybody. We're one family. We gotta have love in this world. We gotta have peace. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Once again, a round of applause for We Are One. So I'm going to ask that the Honorable Prime Minister please join me on stage once again. And also I'm going to call Brother Fayaz Khan as well. For his tireless work, an immense amount of work that he's done over a short period of time. Trust me, I know, I worked with him very, very closely on this project. It's unbelievable how over a short period of time, this man was able to produce something that in times of difficulty, in times of strife, all around the world, he put something together, at least for a brief period, that allowed us to forget that and all join hands and think in a positive way. So thank you so much, Brother Fayaz Khan, and I'd like the Honorable Prime Minister to present a plaque of appreciation to our friend Fayaz Khan and the We Are One team. We're going to have another performance, and this is, the first one was kind of global in the sense that it was a gift from Canada to the world, but we're also going to have one that was more dedicated specifically to the Prime Minister and the work that he's done to put Fiji back on the map. But before that, I'd like to play two short videos. Harmon, you're up? Yeah, these videos, this is just a kind of a collaboration of the experience that we had with this project and working with government and the Port of Vancouver and bringing this to the masses. For your information, this project now is going to be a featured piece to draw business to the Port of Vancouver and the Vancouver general area. So just look at the screens up above. Just imagine the video. Technical difficulties. We're going to come back to the videos, but I built it up so much you guys have to be here to watch this, okay? So we're going to move along. You made things right. This is for the Prime Minister. Song is dedicated to the Right Honorable Frank Bainimarama, a true world leader who has been working very hard to make our world a better place for you and I to live. Local pop music fans may remember Fayaz Khan from the mid-1990s when he scored hit singles on radio stations across Canada. After suffering a broken jaw in a car accident, he stopped performing music, focusing on his business interests. However, in 2015, after inspiring much inspiration, when the Fijian Prime Minister visited Canada, Khan was inspired by his story and decided that this was going to be something that he was going to continue his work on. His contribution to Fiji and the efforts he made to turn the country around and stabilize its economy while curbing any ethnic strife. The result was a song called You Made Things Right, a song telling this story. As a local businessman, Fayaz Khan helped immensely with the Prime Minister's visit, ensuring that the entire Fijian Canadian community would be able to speak with the Prime Minister and his staff, hosting the Prime Minister's first and last nights during that journey, and also assisted with organizing visits with the Fijian Attorney General and Minister of Education. This song speaks to the awareness that we are trying to raise across the world to help deal with issues such as racism, hate crimes, Islamophobia, terrorism, and bullying. And the United Nations has taken note, along with the Humanitarian Coalition, sending Khan's notes of encouragement and praising the message. So without further ado, I do call on Arabella Khan and her team to perform the song, You Made Things Right.
This song is dedicated to the Prime Minister of Fiji. The moment has come to say goodbye. Thinking about it brings tears to our eyes. Wishing this night will never end. We love you so much. We'll miss you, our friend. We'll never forget what you've done. One for all and all for one. Our Canadian hearts welcome you here. Bending around year after year. We're honored to be here for you tonight. To show love and respect, 'cause you make things right. You make things right. Alright. You have made Fiji a better place, where everyone is equal, no matter what race. You made us feel we are one. We are one. You taught us love and hate for none. Our Canadian hearts welcome you here. Getting around year after year. We're honored to be here for you tonight. Show love and respect, 'cause you make things right. You make things right. Thank you for a lifetime of memories. You are our hero of the South Seas.
Thank you so much to the We Are One team, to Arabella, Thank you, Prime Minister. We hope that you really, really enjoyed that. I actually am going to ask the Prime Minister to join me on stage once again, and I'm actually going to ask Shabnam Sahib to please, from Century 21 AAA Realty and her team, to please join, and they're going to present the Prime Minister a gift. Maybe not on stage then. Maybe on the dance floor. Mrs. Benirama, you're home.
Thank you.
Thank you to our sponsors from Central 21. Mr. and Mrs. Prime Minister, I'm going to ask you, however, to stay there for a moment. We have another presentation for you. So we're also going to present some awards, but I would now like to call upon Yusuf Barakat, who is the president of the Canadian Arab Forum, to come and present something to the Prime Minister. Yusuf? So, Mr. Prime Minister, over here.
Awesome. Oh, good. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Wonderful. Thank you. Yeah, done. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Next, I'm going to call upon somebody who is a friend of the community. But before I do that, actually, I have a note for you, historically speaking. We're here to celebrate Fiji Day, and of course, we're going to be celebrating Thanksgiving here in Canada in just over a week. But one more thing we're celebrating here this evening. It's actually the 100th anniversary, the 100th anniversary of the arrival of Fijians here in Canada. And if I can get Harman to show a picture, please, up on the screens. If I can direct your attention to the screens, you're going to see a historical photo. I went to Fiji about 5 years ago. As I mentioned, I'm a member of the Fiji Historical Society, and this is a picture of Fijian soldiers in World War I. This picture was taken 100 years ago in 1917. And they are at Stanley Park in front of the big hollow tree. And they are on their way to fight, not to fight, but actually to assist in the Corps unloading trucks, what they were doing, munitions trucks, in France. So they went from Fiji to Vancouver on a ship. As you can see, they were not even issued uniforms at the time. They were not even issued shoes. They were there was 108 Fijian soldiers who came, along with 6 of their European generals. They were brought to Vancouver. From Vancouver, they boarded a train, were taken to Halifax. From Halifax, they went to France, and finally to Italy, where they served in World War II. So this is the 100th anniversary of the arrival of the first Fijians in Canada, here in Vancouver, and they were here to fight in World War II. All right. So now I'd like to call upon, speaking of service to the Fijian community, she's somebody who's been a great friend of our community from her time, not only as Minister of Multiculturalism, but as an MLA in a community full of our community. I'd like to call upon our former MLA, Sue Hamill.
Bula. Assalamu alaikum, namaste, and Sat Sri Akal. And I just like to say, I am a recovering politician. And this is like drinking again of the wine, right? It's such a fabulous night, such a wonderful occasion to be part of again. And I am here on behalf of a number of MLAs and ministers because the House is sitting. And when the House is sitting in British Columbia, nobody goes anywhere. And that's because the numbers are so tight that if somebody perhaps wandered off to this wonderful event tonight, they just might have an election tomorrow. Anyway, I'm here on behalf of Minister Bruce Ralston, Minister Harry Baines, Minister Ginny Sims, the Parliamentary Secretary Ravi Kalon, the MLA Rachna Singh, the MLA Gary Biggs, and the MLA Jagrup Brar. But most of all, Prime Minister, I am here on behalf of the Premier of British Columbia. And we had the honor of being with the Prime Minister of Fiji 2 years ago, where we escorted him to Victoria. And much to the astonishment of the Premier, John Horgan, he sang happy birthday to him. It was John's birthday, and Prime Minister sang happy birthday, and John tells that story again and again. So he was delighted to send his greetings to you this evening, and if you don't mind, I'll take a minute and read them. This is from John Horgan, as well as his team in Victoria. I'm pleased to extend my warmest greetings and welcome to the Prime Minister of Fiji, Mr. Now I'm going to get it right, Baini Marama. How bad was that? His Excellency is honored by the Fijian community in British Columbia, and I am honored in turn by his visit to our province. We have much to celebrate. The ties forged by the vibrant Fijian community in British Columbia form the basis of a strong, positive relationship between our province and the country of Fiji. The relationship will only grow stronger in the months and years ahead. Mr. Bainimarama is a powerful advocate for climate change and climate action, and was recently sworn in as President of the UN Climate Change Conference in Bonn in November. In this role, this is an amazing honor. And in this role as the Prime Minister of Fiji, he has identified climate change as a key challenge to humanity's well-being and survival, and has dedicated himself to finding solutions to that challenge. As Premier of British Columbia, I share this concern and have pledged that our government will make decisive action on climate change. I'm proud to join the Prime Minister in his efforts to reduce emissions and keep global temperatures increases below 2 degrees. This is a global problem, and we must all come together to find solutions. I am thankful for his visit and look forward to further collaboration in the years ahead. Again, I'd like to say it's wonderful to see you again, sir, and I'm very, very pleased to see you back in Surrey. And again, as a recovering politician, I wish you well. Thank you. Sorry, I'll just quickly, I also have an award to present. I'd like to call on Natani Gukaki. This is, again, from the Premier. Congratulations to Pastor Natani Gukaki in the recognition of your community service at the presentation of the Honourable Prime Minister of Fiji in Surrey, British Columbia. As the Premier of the Province of British Columbia, I'm honoured to extend my congratulations to you on the recognition of your community work given at the presentation of the Honourable Prime Minister of Fiji. I wish you the best for your very bright present and future. Congratulations, Natani.
I was asked to say a few words. First, I'm humbled. I'm so thankful tonight. I would like to take this time to thank the Almighty for the strength that has given insight to lead for all these years until tonight. I'm forever grateful. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the committee of the celebrations that's held tonight as well. I would like to thank my friend who has come for putting these things together. In the last minute, he called me up and said, "Brother, we'd like to welcome you to come to be part of us." Thank you, Fayaz. And thank you, business brothers of Fiji and friends of Fiji. We are forever grateful. I said I'm humble because I did not realize that that I would be having this award right here in front of my Honourable Prime Minister. I'm forever grateful. And I'm so grateful as well to see my brother and the Honorary Consul General to Canada, Brother Bobby Naika. Thank you so much, my brother. And Brother Fayaz Koya, thank you. There's so much so many to be thankful to. I'm forever grateful. There's no other words, but I would like to say thank you so much for your kind support. Looking back, 15 years of toiling and getting the community together. It is not easy. But I tell you something, friends, with humility, with respect, and with understanding of one another, bringing the community together. This is the result. And we're so forever grateful to see, like whatever we've been trying to toil in the nation of Canada, coupled with the Honorable Prime Minister, what he's been doing back home. I'm forever grateful. And I believe that that's all our motto that's been composed by Brother Fayaz Khan. We are one. Regardless of our backgrounds or our creed or gender or religious, whatever, we are one. Back at home, the slogan goes, "My Khan." Whatever that we use, like we see it and we share. And forever, I'm so grateful. Here in Canada, we still do the same. I would like to take this opportunity to say thank you so much again to the Honorable Premier of British Columbia and the recovering MLA Suhamo. Thank you so much, and thank you so much for the chiefs from the Samoa First Nations. And lastly, I would like to thank this sticker that I have to my best friend and my wife, Diana. I would like to say thank you so much for her standing with me side by side, back to back and heart to heart, all these years until this evening. With that, I would like to say, may God bless you all and may God bless Fiji, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Nadani. Okay, so one more historical note I wanted to mention. We talked about how the first Fijians arrived 100 years ago this year. This week, 36 years ago, so this week in 1981 was actually the only time our Prime Minister, the Canadian Prime Minister, actually visited Fiji. So it was a historical moment that way. And of course, 36 years later this week, the Fijian Prime Minister is visiting Canada. So it was 1981, in October, it was Prime Minister Pierre Trudeau, who went to Fiji as part of a trip that he was doing, going to Korea and then to Australia, and then he went to Fiji on the way back. He also attended a kava ceremony in a village. He drank the national drink, and he had a good time. They performed dances for him in the traditional Fijian style, and he enjoyed his time in Fiji and actually came to British Columbia right after. So another historical moment that we're marking this week. We're now going to present some awards to some very special people and organizations within our community. We're going to recognize their efforts, and we're going to ask actually the Prime Minister one more time to come up. You've come up for Bilal a couple of times, and I'm going to ask you to come up, as well as Minister Koya, to present these awards to some of the very special people in our community. The first organization that we are going to recognize, and as I call upon the organizations or the individuals, I'll ask you guys to please come up as I am speaking, and we want to get this done as quick as possible. This is the last item this evening, and so I would like to ask you all to please hold your applause until the very end. So the first organization that we're going to recognize tonight is Generosity International Foundation. Generosity International is a Canadian nonprofit founded in 2012 by a group of former Fiji residents. The objective of the foundation is to assist in building homes for the poor and needy, regardless of nationality. They have built over 54 homes for the deprived and needy families in Fiji. Very important, especially after hurricanes. And accepting the award on behalf of Generosity International is one of the founders, Mr. Muhammad Yassin, a well-known local CPA originally from Fiji, who came to Canada as an SFU student in 1976. And currently has built an accountancy practices with multiple offices and gives back a lot to the community. Next, we are recognizing the Fiji Islamic Center, and I call upon the directors of the Fiji Islamic Center. Fiji Islamic Center is the first Fijian origin community center in British Columbia, opened in 1996. Local community organization with a mosque that looks after the local Muslim communities, educational, social, and religious needs, while fundraising for various humanitarian and charitable causes. They help local soup kitchens, they help feed the needy, has youth programs, and partners with many other organizations.
Yeah, please. Yeah, guys.
All right, congratulations to the Fiji Islamic Center. Next, we're going to recognize the Muslim Business Council of British Columbia. The MBC, the Muslim Business Council of British Columbia, was established in 2008. I'm not sure if we have any of the directors here to accept anything from MBC tonight, but they represent approximately 100 businesses, professionals, and students in BC. The numbers are drawn from diverse sectors of the economy, including real estate, financial services, law, food services, healthcare, automotive, infotech. And they represent students as well as professionals living in British Columbia. Through their collective talents and strengths, they have the capacity and ability to research, develop, and advocate policy positions as well. The Muslim Business Council of British Columbia. All right, next, and this is a bit of a surprise to him, but we're going to recognize an individual now. You have gotten to know him tonight as my co-host this evening, Mr. Bilal Chima. Bilal has served as an aide to several federal ministers under 2 different prime ministers, including the Ministers of Health, Citizenship, and Immigration, and served as a senior advisor to the Ministry of Fisheries and Oceans. He has been involved in the political scene in British Columbia since we were students together at SFU. Through this, he has been able to assist many communities, including the local Fiji community as one of them, and being a conduit in connecting groups with political leadership. Congratulations, Bilal. Next, we're going to recognize Asim Akhtar Khan, President of the Fiji Islamic Center, as well as a local businessman. For the last 27 years, he has served our local community as one of the founders of the Fiji Islamic Center, also a trustee, part of the Canadian Society of Fiji Muslims Generosity International Foundation, and heads a Feed the Homeless program and youth and seniors initiatives in Surrey in his spare time. Congratulations, Asim. And next, we're going to recognize somebody, a little bit of a surprise to him as well, Mr. Muhammad Yassin, better known as Bob Ibrahim, a pillar of the community. Bob Ibrahim, I welcome you. Please come to the front, sir. There you are. Bob Ibrahim has served as chairperson of the Canadian Society of Fiji Muslims, trustee of the Fiji Islamic Center. As a result, he received an award of leadership from the provincial government and now TV. He has also served as founding director of the Muslim Business Council and director of Generosity International. Under his leadership, his organizations have collected funds for many organizations, Osteoporosis Society of Canada, Breast Cancer Foundation, and local hospitals as well. Next, we're going to recognize somebody who has gone pretty far in the field of business. That is Mr. Rajwa Gopal. Mr. Gopal is from the interior of British Columbia. We don't have much representation in our community there, but he's CEO of Accelerate Okanagan. He has a long-standing record of community and international leadership in establishing networks to reduce poverty, improve literacy, and support healthcare initiatives, including offering disaster relief. He's been named the BC Community Achievement Award winner and Rotary Club Vocational Service Award winner, Man of the Year in Kelowna as well. Congratulations, Mr. Gopal. And next, we're going to recognize someone who is well known throughout the Lower Mainland, Sergeant Kyle Dosanjh. Sergeant Dosanjh is a police officer with over 15 years service. He's dedicated much of his career, however, to mentoring youth. He created a program called PAL, Police Athletic League Soccer Tournament, for inner city kids, as well as another program called the Sahara Soccer Tournament, which is a 2-tiered program designed with a presentation for kids and for sports. He's also promoted positive police work on television on the popular reality series on CTV called The Beat. And Next, we're going to recognize Mr. Devendra Prasad. Devendra Prasad is an immigration consultant in Vancouver. He's helped over 1,000 Fijians to get their residency in Canada, unifying families, bringing people together. He helped explain the legal and ethical conditions of Canadian immigration to many people and was a key part of the success stories of so many Fijian Canadian families. As well, he is part of all our local community organizations.
Thank you.
All right, next I want to recognize somebody sitting in the front row here, Maulana Abdul Latif Nomani. Maulana Nomani is a local Muslim leader and an imam. He's been a pillar of the community for almost 20 years and has served the Fiji Islamic Center, teaching youth, mentoring, and counseling services for the community. And next we're going to recognize another Maulana, Maulana Shahadat, who is seated in the back of the room. So Maulana Shahadat is in the back of the room. I won't ask him to come to the front. However, we will deliver his award. Maulana Shahadat has served as an Islamic leader, teacher, and an imam. I know many of us here were taught by him at one time or another, receiving not just religious education, but also great advice. Anthony grew up here in the 80s and 90s. He was a mentor to you. He helped raise funds for local charities and mosques. So for 40 years, he's really served our community in many ways. So Maulana Shahadat has served us for over 40 years. He never really been recognized, so we wanted to recognize him tonight. It's a wonderful moment for him. We also wanted to recognize somebody who couldn't join us tonight. Made a big difference in the world of sports. That's Ivor Evans. He played for the Vancouver 86ers, right, the Fiji Flash, I suppose the Whitecaps. Is he here? Oh, is he here? Okay, Ivor Evans is here. We'll let you call him. Let you call Ivor Evans. So you remember him from the Vancouver 86ers, wearing number 11. He's a member of the BC Sports Hall of Fame. He was the best player to come out of Fiji of his generation. He won numerous Canadian Soccer League titles, 6 Fan Choice Awards, 8-time Canadian All-Star. And that's just his North American career. In Fiji, he played for the national team in World Cup qualifications and won an inter-district title playing in Fiji. You know, the Fiji Flash, Ivor Evans. All right, just a couple more people here. We wanted to recognize Mr. Okay, you got us.
Yeah, guys, get in. Quick, get him one quick shot.
the breath of Fiji Islamic Center, Mr. Asim Akhtar Khan. Please join me on stage. A big part of why we're here tonight is because of my brother Fayaz Khan. You know, I've got to know him over the last couple of years, spent a lot of time with him. There's very few people that come more sincere and caring than Fayaz Khan. I've worked with him on a number of projects, as have these gentlemen, and results. You don't quit. You achieve your objectives. This is what Fayaz has proven to me through his work ethic. And this was something that we were hoping that Randeep Sarai would also present, but this is something that we were very, very eager to get from the Government of Canada. On behalf of the Government of Canada, I would like to thank Mr. Fayaz Khan for his efforts in producing the song, We Are One. Canada derives great strength from its diversity, and creative work such as this is an important part of our multicultural society. Thank you for your contributions. The Right Honourable Justin P.J. Trudeau. Brother Fayaz, please come up to stage.
From Fiji for having us here tonight. We look forward to seeing you all again soon, and also like to acknowledge all the Fijian Canadians here tonight as part of this event. I would also like to thank our tireless volunteers from our organization who worked so hard to put this event together. Thank you all as well for all our corporate sponsors. You will see the ads on our commemorative magazine and also on the banner outside. Without their support in our community, it couldn't put this together for many programs. Thank you to the speakers and the MC for the time and dedication to ensuring that our event would have been one to remember. And finally, I would also like to thank you all in attendance here this evening for supporting us. I hope you all enjoyed the evening. Now the dinner will be announced and you'll listen. Thank you.
It'll be served very shortly. Before that, we have a small ceremony where we'll be cutting a cake.
High five.
Yeah, and fist bump. Yay!